What's up?
What up? It's Monday.
You know it.
We're
We back.
I went to adjust my glasses. I don't have my glasses on.
We back.
And of course, we got a fantastic guest today.
We do.
You might know him from such hits as the Chase and Shep Show or the Phil and Chase podcast or any of his music. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Jon McEwen with us
again.
What's going on, y'all?
Back, we back. Hey,
really?
What's up, man?
It's live.
Welcome back. It's always a pleasure.
I appreciate y'all, man.
It's always a pleasure. I'm a little nervous today because I know you're bubbling up inside. You got some shit to talk about.
Yeah.
And, I shouldn't say nervous. I'm more excited. I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to hear what's on your mind today, so we can get everybody's mind right. Let's do it.
So I'm going to show off a little bit today, actually. I feel like last time, I mean, we got into it last time and we talked, but I didn't really get in depth on anything. And right now I hear a lot of people talking about depression, and I really want to clear some things up about it. So whenever you're ready for a rant, I'm gonna give it to
you.
I'm ready.
Oh okay. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to hear it.
So right now I think it's like kind of a viral thing where people are talking about like the depression and stuff like that. And I'm starting to see people use it as a tool for attention. So I was looking at somebody's Instagram, and I know this person, she's cool, but it was like it was like almost too victim-like. So I work in the field, you know what I mean? I work at that, though I don't want to say it on here because it's a shithole. But, you know, I work there, and I've worked there for 2.5 years. So I've dealt with various mental illness, like a lot of sensitive situations. And just like if you think about breakfast, right? So whenever you think about breakfast, you think about bacon, eggs, toast, pancakes, waffles, stuff like that. And we're often, now these are breakfast foods. So now we have a society that says, okay, well, it's breakfast time. We don't eat hamburgers at breakfast. Well, in Germany, we drink beer with breakfast. We do things differently elsewhere. And so that may be like our own German breakfast, and we have what's called Mittagessen. And, you know, there's certain foods that are associated with that. So there are things that become habit or become like a part of this thing at this time. But you start to realize that, you know, dairy isn't necessarily able to be processed by most people in the United States. That's why we have lactose intolerance. So most people don't have the gene mutation to be able to digest dairy. So dairy, like milk and cereal and these things, and pork, which is really bad for your skin. And, you know, most of everything is like buttery and syrupy and high sugar. You start to realize that there's certain things that correlate. And you have that the dairy industry that has been, you know, paying, I forget, I had like a whole spiel, but they've been paying to have this as breakfast food forever. And so basically we associated with that. So that ensures that we're going to buy more eggs. So then you start to realize that it's more sales. So it's the same thing in society where depression, there are very few people who have nothing they can do about it. So these are the people who have a predisposition to depression and anxiety and other mental illnesses. There's actually like 23 different types of depression. And with this, you start to kind of realize how ridiculous everything is and how you've been had. So we've all to a certain degree been tricked with breakfast food. So fuck breakfast. And
hey, man, I love breakfast.
I like breakfast. I actually just made pancakes yesterday. So like, you know, what am I
talking? I eat it for dinner.
Did you? Breakfast for dinner is the best.
That's what I'm saying. Or, I go against the rules.
Or like, what is it, like the breakfast burger where you put the eggs and the bacon on there? Fire. And I'm just talking shit about bacon, but I like bacon. Yeah, I'm trying not to eat as much.
I like bacon, but I always liked when they made a breakfast steak and shit. I didn't really ever know that was a thing. And then like breakfast steak, and I was like, all right, I like breakfast.
Steak and eggs. Yep. I even gotta get a grill so I can because I got a little patio in the back and I can grill and have steak and eggs with a little bit of brown sugar on top, man. I can do my thing. Huh?
We're coming over.
You can't wear a shirt? Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, I thought you were gonna take it all the way off. So I got turned on. So you can't tease your guests and your audience.
We've already gone so far off the rails here.
My bad. My bad.
That was my bad.
Well, this is the biggest thing to me, that we've all been tricked. And so everybody talks about depression being a mental illness, and that's not necessarily true. Depression is defined as a negative outlook of yourself, situation, and future. And like depression is also coupled with anxiety. And anxiety is just your perception of fear. That's what it's defined as. So when you have anxiety, you have an insulin uptake. You have your body gives you a ton of sugar so that your body can use it as fuel so that you can move. And it's to get you out of dangerous situations. So when we're in a movie theater, you shouldn't be having social anxiety. But the thing is, where did this all come from? So then you start to realize, okay, well, you start to look at the picture as a whole. Now, this is where the rant comes in, because a lot of people are worried about the New World Order, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about the New World Order, it's already happened. Everybody's already enslaved. So think about this. Get this. So we're gonna shift just for a minute, but right now, I think it was not until 1970 you started hearing about ADD and ADHD and stuff like that. Now, when you put animals, because humans are mammals, in a classroom for 8 hours a day, what are they supposed to do, especially as children? Do you think they want to sit down? No, we're naturally exploring. We're naturally wanting to do things other than sit down under artificial light all day. And then you have homework, and I understand like society and stuff like that. But when you start to look at the way school is structured, it's a lot like jail. It's a lot of conditioning. It's a lot of, and I'm not saying I'm not against education, because obviously I'm educated, but I think there's different ways that we could do things. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring that up because now these children are hyperactive because they're children. And now we have this little pill, which is really close to meth, and we give it to them, and it actually calms them down. Now, there are some kids who I've seen that have behavioral disorders, some that actually, like, there is a legitimacy to psychology in the field itself and medication, but most people don't need it. So when we go back to depression, you start to say, okay, well, I'm depressed and I feel suicidal. Now, most people don't want to, when you start looking at the stats and stuff like that, people don't want to commit suicide. They want out of the situation. So what is that? Where's the correlation? Well, if depression's a negative outlook of yourself, situation, and future, and most suicides are accidents, according to the numbers, or according to how it's explained, people really just want out of these situations. So if depression is a negative outlook, then we have to look at our lives and the shape of it. But more often than not, you see people who are medicated, and not everybody reacts the same to medication. So there's several different types of antidepressants, which have several different types of. These are drugs. We have a society of drugged people, zombies. We're all already under control. Now, I don't take any meds, and I'm not saying that these medications aren't useful. What I am saying is, sorry, I was about to cough and burp at the same time. What I am saying is that we all need to look at it differently, but we're also not explaining it. We're not explaining any of this. Yeah. We're not explaining any of it. You just say, okay, well, depression is mental illness, and you can't fucking judge me and this and that. But now we're trying to treat symptoms instead of get to the root of the issue. Now, if depression, again, is a negative outlook of your self, situation, and future, then what is the quality of your life? And when we look at it from a scientific perspective, if we have 23 different types of depression, if you read through them, yes, there's some legitimate reasons. Your predisposition and hormonal, like postpartum depression, when you have that kid, it's a beautiful bonding experience. Now the child's out of you. You may have the baby blues, but it's also a hormonal change which could affect your mental health. That's where postpartum depression comes from. Yet we don't talk about that. We diagnose it as a clinical depression and put you on a pill. And guess who gets paid? Somebody gets paid for that. And I'm not saying don't make your money, but I'm saying people, they want out. Then this is our problem, because people want out of this feeling. Now, this is how you get over depression and anxiety. It's hard when something makes you scared. So the anxiety is fear. That's why in mental health, somebody says, man, I'm anxious. I'm at my wit's end. We say, what are you afraid of? We say that all the time. When somebody says I'm depressed, I'm like, okay, well, tell me about your life. Tell me about that's why therapy is important, so we can come to terms with things, so we can talk about things. Everybody's fucking depressed, all right? Everybody's depressed at one point in their life, a breakup. There's actually, that's a type of depression. I forget what it's called, but it's like following a divorce. Why wouldn't you be depressed when the person that you love more than anything took half your shit, took half the kids, and now you homeless? I would be depressed. You know, I have to look at myself.
It's like
separation.
I mean? It's like a separation depression.
Exactly.
They only took half the kids.
Wait, what's up?
So I'd be questioning why they only took half the kids.
Take all the kids. Like that, I'm depressed because the kids are here. So
I want these two. You two can stay with your father.
Those were my favorite.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I just want everybody to realize that we're not passive players in our mental health. We have to do what's difficult. And that's why I post the quotes every day so that you can realize, not you all, but like people can realize that, the hardest route is often what's best for you. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. These were quotes that were taught to me, and I apply it because this is true. Like, think about, like, fuck it. When I was in high school, I was lazy. I was lazy as fuck. And even after that, I was lazy. So when I was failing, and then all my friends are going to college, they're doing fun shit, they're getting jobs, they're becoming somewhat successful, they're having relationships. And then I see that I'm failing high school. I don't have a job. My family situation sucks. I don't know if I'm going to go to college. I don't even feel smart now. I'm associating with gang members and stuff like that. I'm in jail. Like, how am I going to look at myself, my situation, and my future? Poorly. Depression right there. And then we use that as an excuse to put you on a pill, another drug, and now you're a drug addict. You can't just stop like, oh, I don't think I need these pills anymore without withdrawing.
Yeah.
And now we hooked. So the New World Order already has us. And yeah.
Actually, I had a very similar conversation just last night talking on mental health and how I've always been somebody who even like this past week I've been feeling depressed, but my grandma's passing away, like I'm,
oh shit, dude, I'm sorry.
I'm taking on like it's just all sorts of shit, just feeling the stress of life.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm a big person, like I'm big on feel your feelings, like don't try to suppress that shit. And there were definitely days this week where I just wanted to do nothing but lay in bed, like I just didn't have it in me to get on up. But I told Shep I powered through it these past few days. Like I have to, I explained it to my friend I was talking to last night that, you might come across somebody who starts talking about how they're possessed and all this shit. And it's just like, you know what? I explain it that way, for sure. Like I know what I deal with. It almost feels like that. It feels like there's this separate entity trying to take over my mind.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of don't let your mind control you. You need to be able to control your mind.
Exactly.
It's a very, very powerful thing, but don't think that it's impossible. And I always say, with me being into Buddhism and Taoism and all that stuff, all of those things, all of those, all this Eastern philosophy and stuff, it's simple, it's simple stuff that works. But people mistake simple for easy, and that's not the same thing. It's simple, but for whatever reason, us human beings have a hard time with simple. We overcomplicate things, and we make it like we create a lot of our own stress.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like what you're saying is changing that perspective on things. I know for me, when I was living in Tennessee, paying my bills was really getting to me. It would stress me out so much, and I would just work myself up so much more if I couldn't pay my bills. And I had this mentality of, why is this happening to me? And so many people in this world have that mentality. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? And you have to switch that from why is this happening to me to this is happening. This is happening. So what I do. I was talking with Mark last night, and he told the story about the Eastern and Western philosophy, the difference. Like if you've got a poison dart in your leg, Western philosophy is, why did I get hit with this dart? What did I do to deserve this? What did I, blah, blah, blah. You're getting offended at the fact that there's a poison dart in your leg. Whereas Eastern philosophy is like, shit, there's a poison dart in my leg. I should probably figure out what to do and move forward from here so I don't fucking die from the poison dart in my leg,
Yeah.
And with like bills and stuff, here I am, I'm stressing myself out. If bills are due on the 1st, but I don't get a paycheck till the 3rd, I can sit here and I can stress out But if I've gone down the list of everything I can possibly do about that situation and I can't get that paycheck any sooner, and the worst thing that could happen is they're going to maybe slap me on the wrist and be like, hey, you got to pay a late fee. That's not the worst fucking thing in the world. It's really not. And there's nothing I can do about it. So you might as well just wait out the 3 days and the third day, pay your bills, and now it's done rather than stress out. Whereas if you stress out, you know, I know for me, sometimes I'll spend money to de-stress, you know.
We all do it, yeah.
We all do it, you know, or, you know, whether it's like buying food, buying, you know, movies, whatever the fuck, you know, to just kind of alleviate some of that stress or whatever. Well, you're creating that cycle, you know, you are creating that cycle. You are making that stress on yourself. You're choosing to see it as that stressful, and then that stress is leading you to make bad decisions that starts the cycle back from the beginning. So next month, you're not going to have the money for the bills again, you know?
Definitely.
I finally, you know, when I switched my perspective, you know, I got there, you know, eventually. And I've always been that way of I look at my life and I say, do I like what's going on here? I don't. What can I do to change it?
Exactly.
You know? And I go about doing it. And it's not easy. And for whatever reason, I feel like people feel like they can't change. Like I've even heard people just say that verbatim, that this is how I am, or like I'm however old, I can't change my ways. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I do not accept that answer. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you are fucking damn near 100. I don't care. Like you can change any given moment. That is a choice. You know, you are not programmed like dead set. You know, you can definitely change that.
Yeah, well, you said it best, man. You said it best. Psychology is actually like really simple. So when I got in this field, I'm like, nah, maybe I am smart and I'm just like playing myself down, or like, is this actually serious? So we talked last time, I'm pretty sure, about last summer where I made a lot of changes in my life, and that was really difficult because I stopped drinking, stopped having sex with people, I stopped talking to people, I kind of withdrew from everything, and I kind of got to see how disconnected we all are, and that's why I like hippies a lot. And this is like kind of like off topic a little bit, but like, so going back to the New World Order theory, we're all drugged. We're all unhappy at our jobs. We're all doing meaningless stuff. Now, of course, the machine needs to move. People need fast food. But then again, like we're in this lifestyle that perpetuates negativity. And so how can you have a society of healthy, physically and mentally healthy people when our jobs are crippling us, the corporations are destroying the earth and our own mental health, and you just come to work and then you realize that the person that you fell in love with now is just a routine. Okay, like, did you take the kids to the fuck? Honey, did you pick the fucking thing up like I told? Now you're arguing with her. Now we're not fucking, and we forget that like that now that relationship's fucked. Listen to the music that we listen to, want like some of the entertainment value. Like we are all going to be depressed because we're always looking for things that we don't have that we can create, like you said. And then even the thing with social media where we're like addicted to like the likes and all that. And that's why I like hippies, because when you go to these festivals and you see people that just want to be free, they're free sexually, they're free of judgment. Hey, just come dance. Like what I saw this guy posted he had a post and it just said, hey, are you lost? Come dance. And just like, man, you know, and then you like the drugs of choice. Now drugs are going on there, but like psychedelics and stuff like that, that gets you more in touch with the earth, more in touch with the people around you, help heal your brain. It's all about connection. It's all about music. It's about good vibes and stuff like that. We need more of that, you know, when we're talking about like, so with me, when I move, I'm going to move to Florida and I want to start a nonprofit just so because I have something to offer. My people have something to offer, but also because we realize that things aren't working. And really what people need is they need guidance. We don't need we need therapists. That's what people need. That's why I wear the Satan is King shirt, because it's not because I want to be an edgy Satanist or anything like that. But I remember being in a religion. Like think about religious ideologies and stuff that keep people depressed. I was only told that I didn't love God. I did everything I fucking could to be a good Christian, to do all this other shit growing up. And all I was told was that I didn't believe hard enough, or was somehow me when I would pray night after night that something happened, that my mother come back because I missed her, that my father, you know, not be this way, be around, that I not have to be guided by the streets, that I wasn't alone, that I have family that cared about me. How do you think I felt? So there was times where I was in a depressed state and I figured that, you know, what is the truth? So as you were saying, looking at things for what they are, feeling feelings. And now the other problem is that everybody is just too good vibes. Bad vibes are good too. And I'll say this because you need these feelings to change. Good feelings are a reward for the hard work that you do, for spending time with somebody you love. The bad feelings are to show you what needs to be changed so that you can have more of these good feelings. Happiness is ups and downs. Life is like that. But like, you're supposed to be learning, and now we're so distracted with everything else. How in the fuck can you not be depressed or have anxiety or fear something? Yeah. How can you not? So we're all controlled, man. And me, you, Chef, all of us who are trying to do things that make us happy. Like, even if we're exhausted after work, this makes me happy. Coming on your show, you know what I mean? Making music, even if the world doesn't hear it, it makes me happy because somebody's going to hear it. This gives me fulfillment. This is what I want to do. And I know that the job that I have right now is only for the next few months. And then I move on to the next biggest chapter in my life. Like, when we're building, the way, and so over years, the time's going to pass by anyway. So if you're getting a degree, if you're building your brand, you've been building your brand for years, both of you. I remember doing the Santa show, just getting drunk and acting a fool, but you guys have been building it. Now look at you and doing big things. You just had, what's his name on there? The Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler. Yeah.
You had him on the show. That's huge. That's huge. So, putting in that work is going to cause us to change the way we look at ourselves and where we are. And that's how you defeat depression, is by being the absolute best you can be, as hard as it is.
Right.
Ran over.
Hell yeah.
What does our resident hippie think about all this?
I mean, I think a lot of people confuse going through a funk for depression, and especially like on social media and stuff like that. We want to be, good, but like, sometimes when you want that attention, looking like you're in a bad spot, gives you the attention you needed and wanted at a time. And like, I've went through depression. I know a lot of people that have. Most of the time, like the true, like, damn, depression, you don't really see on the surface. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to like really know somebody personally, go over and see their house, and it's not even picked up. It's a mess, and it's like, yo, dude, is everything good? But no, I mostly agree with everything you guys were both saying here this whole time. Definitely, we're definitely controlled. I think the instant world we live in is playing a big role into this, because a lot of that I see around is because of that. You were at work too long, I got bored, and so back in high school messaged me on Facebook, and I was talking to them, and all this stuff, and it's, they're not getting the attention they want, but they also don't have, a lot of people lack that communication to be able to sit down and have those mature conversations with somebody in any type of zone, to be like, hey, this sucks. We need to fix this. We need to work on this. Maybe look at it from a different way. And I know I've said this on the show too, before, that, I think just the fact that people like here in my hometown have never left. They've never left.
That's wild.
And it's like, we were not made to just be born, plopped, sit, and just live somewhere. I don't feel like there's nothing else. There's nothing else on this fucking planet besides, if you like pluck a cat or a dog, right when it's born, that's going to just sit in one spot. Everything moves, everything rolls around, and we need to as well. And the most biggest connections that I've made over my time has been by doing that. It's always been in person,
For sure. No, I agree with that completely. What my dad told me one time, like, you won't really know growth until you move somewhere where you don't know anybody. Right. And I'm with you. But that will also, what was that? You were talking, I just had a point. I was like, communication. That's another thing that causes depression. Like, when somebody is depressed, we all go through depressive states. Everybody's going to constantly throughout their life go through it. And I feel like one of the biggest things is our lack of communication as a whole. I went to relationship counseling with my ex. I was trying to leave her, but she wanted me to go to counseling with her. And it was one of the best decisions that I agreed to do. Sometimes we didn't make it. Sometimes I didn't want to go. But I didn't realize how shit my communication was. And then I apply because I felt like I could talk to people, I can listen to people, and then I go there and realize how I don't talk to and listen to adequately somebody I claim to love so much. And I didn't realize how much we all get in our own way. Chase, you were talking about that. And when you don't feel like you're understood or nobody will listen to you, you'll hold that belief in that causes that persistent sadness, which is depression, the chronic feeling of just being low, having a low sense of self-worth, feeling hopeless. I mean, several situations can make you feel that way. And yeah.
Yeah. I know it's kind of along these same lines, but you know, in a lot of the stuff I've read, thing that'll come up if you're feeling depressed or something, that the best thing you can do to make yourself feel better is to help somebody else. You know, make somebody else feel better, and that's going to help you. That's going to make you feel better. You know, and like you know, this week I've been feeling depressed and shit, but you know, I'll be damned if old Sheppy here didn't have a bad day yesterday, and I was just happy to be there for you, man. Like I was just happy to shut the fuck up and let you, you know, say what you needed to say. And
and he really did, because it was like I was there like in a bad mood, and in my head, you know, I got worked up, and I was like, yo, I just need to go get this done. I want to go home. You know, fuck this. I'm angry. I just need to be by myself. I don't really like to be around a lot of people when I'm angry.
So the first shows up, he's like, I gotta go, and then he left 3 hours later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 2.5, 3 hours later, I finally left. You know, it went to him just listening, you know, and he just was like, chill. You know, Chase could have been like, all right, fuck it. Get this done. Peace, dude. All right, you're in a bad mood. Get on out of here. But he's just like, all right. He already knew the deal. He's like, we get this done, and let's just hear what he has to say. And I just started talking, got what I needed to out, you know, and that vibed into like us talking about what we're working on and doing all kinds of shit. And just left in a much better mindset and mood to where I could go home last night, kind of think to myself and take a night to myself and fucking be like, I don't know why my situations in life I was taking personally, which I was like, I should just not probably take personally at this moment. Like, I don't think it's really me. I'm doing everything. I'm vibing. I'm being myself. But yeah, no, I really vibe with that though. Helping somebody else, making you feel better. Cause I think that's another thing that leads to a lot of this depression with social media is you feel like, you know, you don't have a purpose. You don't matter in the grand scheme of things in life because you see everybody around you doing things. They're out of town with a bunch of people this weekend. They're living life. They're having fun. And it makes you feel like, you know, what's my life worth? What's the purpose? But to sit there and vibe and help somebody, to talk to somebody, to make, you know, even just to help them not make a bad decision just by being there, you know, that is a purpose, in my opinion. That's a purpose in life that gives your life some worth. And yeah, if you're feeling depressed or you're in a funk, that might be your way to turn it around. I know, like even then I was pissed off last night, but when I got home, you know, I was like, shit, now I'm hyped. Now I'm ready to do some work and do some shit.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was gonna say. It's like it's dope. It's dope shit when that goes down. And I feel like more people, if you just, you know, instead of just holding shit in, and you know, because a lot of dudes just like to hold shit in. You know, they don't think it's dope to sit there and just be like, yo, I'm just kind of pissed off right now at a lot of things, and this is why.
That was a big conversation I had last night as well. Was we were on the topic of what it means to be a man. That was the
shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's heavy shit.
Uh-oh. So that's
I got my input, but no, please, I want to hear it.
So we were basically just talking about it's easy nowadays for people to be like, oh, you know, these pussies, these little millennials with their thin skin and blah 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 blah. And what I was talking about last night is there are definitely those people. As somebody who, you know, I advocate for a better world, you know, mental health, all that stuff. But I've also been a comedian my whole life, you know, so I can't help but to want to fuck with people sometimes and have a laugh and just mess around. And so, you know, in today's culture, there are times where like something gets said that like just gets blown out of proportion.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And I was talking on, you know, as far as like, I think the definition of what a man is has definitely changed, as I think it should. You know, I think to me personally, I mean, this is something that changes from person to person. But for me, I mean, when it comes down to it, being a man, like, it comes down to, like, I was telling him again with like Eastern culture and like why I dig superheroes and shit like that is this idea of like you can be tough without being a fucking tough guy. You know what I mean? You can be a warrior and have that spirit of a warrior, but be honorable and have dignity and be kind and loving and caring and understanding to other people. You can open up. You can show your feelings. You can be a person. You don't have to fucking be stone faced Clint Eastwood, you know, all the time and press all that down. And you know, that was something that, you know, from a lot of the men in my life, that's kind of why, you know, I've always been that kid that's like, I just question everything. I'm just like, why are we doing that? Like, that's like, but you told me this, but this doesn't add up. Like, you're telling me treat others the way you want to be treated, but then you're telling me if an adult is fucking with me, I can't say anything back because I'm a kid. Like, you know, like that doesn't add up to me at all. And so I question stuff like that. And it was just one of those things that as I'm looking around at the men in my life who are angry or sad or frustrated and just can't seem to shake it. They just come across as assholes. You know, we've all grown up with, you know, daddy issues in one way or shape or form, you know? And a lot of that does have to do with this generation of men who just pushes that shit down and does not let it out, man. Like, I, you know, feel a certain type of way, I'm gonna just push that in and save face for the people around me. Now, that's not to say fall out and just, you know, completely just be a mess over your feelings. Like, no, man, if you cry, talk to somebody out, you know. But you know, there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it, and I think people need to get past that. You know, especially like men in particular need to get past this idea that it's like not okay to share your feelings because they're just fucking themselves up. It's like we were just saying earlier. They're, you know, you're your own worst enemy, you know, and it's that communication thing. And it's not only harming relationships, you know, but you're harming yourself. To hold all that inside, you know, for me, I kind of was like, I've always been an open person, but when I started having my seizures and stuff, a lot of that is brought on by that, like, compounded stress. So like if I'm in a situation where I'm trying to be Mr. Nice Guy, you know, like if somebody's getting like me frustrated and I'm trying to hold back like the anger or whatever, that's usually where I'm going to have a seizure because I'm not expressing the way I feel. I'm trying to subdue that. And then there's this whole, you know, idea that you can't confront somebody without being an asshole, which is just not true. You can confront something and be stern about it and take it seriously, but and not be an asshole about it. And at the end of the day, you can agree to disagree too.
Yeah. No, you're right.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, well, I think people also forget that your pseudo seizures come from the anxiousness, and that anxiety can take on physical symptoms. And so, yeah, like you being more honest. I remember we had talked before about like how you felt about things that were going on, and you expressing yourself. That's good for your mental health. And as far as being a man, speaking of, you know, on the same lines of depression, a lot of people are depressed because they don't fit the societal standard of what a man is. So what is a man? I mean, are we biologically male? You know, to me, a man is by definition responsible. He has good character. He sacrifices, you know, and that it's not so, we're all different. So being a man, even just with us three, we'll probably agree on most things because we have good care. We're good people. We're quite similar, but we may disagree.
Different men too, for sure. I mean, we're three significantly different men too.
Exactly. So it is subjective. That's why, like, okay, so good character, we can all agree on that, you know. Responsible, you know, sacrifice. We all believe in those things. It's pretty broad, but it's like, as far as being a man, if you know, having good character, I think that's a good person that somebody will want to mate with. A lot of people don't fit that stereotype of being hard and emotionless. That we don't function like that as people. And I figured that out last year. That's why last year was huge for me because I allow myself to feel, and it sucked because I get sad. I'm not always funny, and you know, I like to act a fool on you guys' show and stuff, but you know, I have I'm multifaceted. Like I can be like, it's funny. My guy Justin, he's like, man, you really a gangster and you really this and that. I'm like, well, I don't want to walk around stone cold. I just don't want nobody fucking with me. And if it gets to, a certain level, we all get like that. We all will, if we're gun owners, we'll protect our house. Like, I'll pull my shit out if somebody's acting a fool, but like, I want peace. You know what I mean? We all, us as men, we want peace. And so, but there's a lot of depth to me. And the reason why we're all good artists is because of those emotions. Speaking about superheroes, emotion is our human superpower. And that is what creates reality around us. That creates our sorrows and our sadness. That's why we have anxiety. It makes us fearful. It's our power. And I'm like, I'll be damned if I just, man, fuck. Because first off, they can't beat my ass. So if we're going to fight, we're all worried about a conversation leading to altercation. And when we're not worried about, like, dude, I did this the other day. I was at work. We've been getting our ass beat at work by just all the bullshit going on. How the fuck do mental health workers in a mental health facility have terrible mental health? So I was about to leave. I was there 9 hours already, and then somebody asked if I could come down and help, and put us in a group text with my boss and like me and my other coworker. And I had to be like, no. I had 1 day off in the last 10 days. You just end up having to take care of yourself. So men are outspoken. Men will stand up for themselves and other people. And people that others want to admire. How can you admire somebody who has terrible, shoddy character? How can you admire somebody? I mean, I think we're fascinated. Like, think about the not bank robber. Yeah, the bank robbers, the mafia. These people, we're fascinated by certain things, but people we look up to and want to be like, that's, in a really acceptable manner, in a healthy way, are people with good character who are responsible. The guy who sacrifices, what is the Superman? He didn't die in the movie, but like, they put themselves in danger. That's sacrifice. They're sacrificing the possibility of their safety and really the world to fight the bad guy. These are people we like. That's a man to me.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think, over my life, we've seen the definition of what a woman has changed. You know what I mean? And I think that just with that, like, the definition of what a man is has had to change. If you look back at, that stone cold emotionless man generation, a lot of them, you'll turn somewhere to deal with your emotions. And a lot of them turn to alcohol. There's a lot of alcoholism, which led to a lot of domestic abuse, child abuse, all kinds of shit. And it caused a lot of fuck shit. So I think I've enjoyed seeing that change, the definition of what a man is. And I agree with what you guys are saying, like good character, like I've always lived by the golden rule, man. Like, it's like, I always try to treat people how I like to be treated in return. And it doesn't always happen that way, but it's like, you know what? I can't let that stop the hustle.
Yeah.
You got to keep it, I got to keep it going. Cause that's what I've always thought that, that's one of my biggest superpowers in life is my heart. It's like, shit. Okay. That's cool. You can do what you want, but you're not going to stop what I got going on in life. Even if it's just me, I'm going to still roll out and still do what I do.
And that makes you better, because honesty is something that's so, like, think about a lot of hip hop, a lot of music that's popular. We talk a lot about deception and robbing and stuff like that. These are not good things to do to other people. And of course, like, I've been involved with a lot of bullshit in my life, so I can't sit there and turn my nose up. But at the same time, being honest, nothing can fuck with the truth. So this is who you are. And no matter what, somebody can say whatever they want. I'm like, hey, man, I know Shep. You say throw dirt on his name, but I don't believe you, because he's honest all the time about who he is. So Chase too. And I really liked what you said about how men used to be, and the female would, the guys would turn the alcohol. Men need a gauntlet. This is why it's important that you have men that you can substitute their advice for your own. When I come and say, in this Kevin Samuel said it, he was like, man, I feel this way about this girl. And then your guy's like, I see what you're saying, but you're blind right now, because we're in our own way. We get emotional. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, later on you can see what they mean. And I listen to him because that's my man's, and that's exactly how Kevin Samuel said it. That's one of my mentors. And so we need guys that we can look to, because when you start, you have to be the rock for your woman. I'm not saying be cold hearted or anything like that, but she is going to be the emotional one. And when she can't control her emotions, she needs somebody who's stable, that you can come to and be like, this is how I feel. And however she acts is a guy who's not gonna move, who's unmovable. And you know, I think women that's a whole different conversation. But at the same time, yeah, men, when they have a gauntlet, they can talk about their problems, not with their woman, because their woman needs to see strength. Of course, it's your best friend too. You probably live with your girl, not you two, but I mean, like, eventually you live with the woman, and she's gonna see that certain things are going on, but she needs that strength naturally, because there is a nature component to our bonding with each other as animals. And so, yeah, if men have that, they don't have to turn away. When you have a therapist, or when you just when Shep, when you were talking to Chase, you were just able to express yourself. Like, when we hold all that in, it's going to come out in the most unnatural and toxic way, which is often anger and lashing out. And then, yeah, when you have no, I can't think of the term right now, but when your inhibition is blocked off because you're drinking, why not hit your girl who's you know, you hit her, she shuts up. Okay, now the habit starts.
Yep.
You know, but I feel you. Both of those are good points, men and women. Yeah. We're gonna have to get on that.
Yeah, but I you know, it's life, man. I think, you know, evolution's needed. You know, we got to keep taking these next steps, and I think, you know, the whole recent boom of everybody, you know, bringing up and talking and communicating about the mental health and everything in the world, I think is helping the evolution keep continuing. I think hopefully we'll see. I hope we won't ever see technology just completely take over everything with us. I hope a lot of people will be like, nah, like, we've got enough. We're good. It's fine. Mm-hmm. We don't need that new product anymore. Like, we're good, capitalism. And we can.
It just depends, man. People are weird.
They are. Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna say Netflix is gonna have to pay me for plugging this movie so much, but the Mitchells versus the Machines, man, that's what it was all about. You know, it was the big message.
The cartoon?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't finish it yet.
It was all about the tech stuff, and you know, and the way we are because of it as a society, and how hooked we are on a lot of it, and how we are as people because of it. And then, you know, the big message at the end of this movie is, you know, the dad changes his ways, and the two robots are like, you changed your programming? Like, you can do that? You know, like, and it's just like, yeah, bro, you can change, man. Like, you don't have to be this way.
Thank you for ruining the movie for me.
Yeah, fuck you. You should have finished it.
I haven't seen it yet.
24 hours. Like, you should have finished it.
I'll watch it today.
It's true. It is true. It's a good
one. Yeah, definitely. Real quick though, you had said earlier about like change and whatnot. I do want to point out that we get good feeling chemicals released when we do things that are difficult. And the reason that it's so difficult to change our habits is because there's grooves on our brain. Mm-hmm. From what that habit is like literally imprinted and indented into our brain. And it is, you know, once we're able to get out of our way, if we can be uncomfortable for a month, it's just discomfort. It's not that like, oh, I can't, oh, my hand. It's just you being uncomfortable with a new routine. And if we can get comfortable being uncomfortable, we can do that everywhere in life, because the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so I brought that up earlier because, you know, I had only been in a couple serious relationships in high school, like probably like 2 or 1 maybe. But I remember me being lazy with school made me be lazy elsewhere, lazy in my street activities, lazy in, like, I was lazy across the board. So if we get comfortable being uncomfortable, we'll be comfortable in other areas. Like, we'll still associate that with the good feeling rewards because we did it and it was difficult. And that's how we evolve, like y'all were saying. We will evolve when our behavior becomes more, I mean, it's already pattern like, but when we create the pattern, when we recognize that we're more than the animal,
or break those patterns.
Yeah. Or break those patterns. Yeah. Hell yeah. But we do need to talk more about men and women. We got to do that one Mental Health Monday, because insert comment that's going to upset your audience.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of tie into the change, and Shep said something else earlier that tied in as well. But so like, the whole social media thing and looking and seeing how other people, it can kind of make you feel inadequate in a way. Mm-hmm. Anthony Mackie was on The Daily Show the other day.
Okay.
And Trevor Noah asked him about, he's like, I want to get in a Marvel movie just so I can get in shape. He's like, because all of you guys look like Greek gods. Like, all of you guys just look cut and everything. And Mackie just said, like, you know, that's 4 months of training. And at the end of the episode, Trevor Noah said that, you know, he goes, you know what? Thank you for telling me that, because that makes me feel so much better knowing, because I'll go and do 10 sit-ups. I'm like, why don't I look like this? You know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like that. Even if they do it for like a week, they're like, bro, you know, why don't I look like Captain America? You know, like, why am I not ripped? Like, what's the deal here? But it takes work, like anything. If you're
the hardest work that you've ever done, it's always gonna be the hardest thing. And I personally was very fortunate to find this mentor that I had at the time, because you know, I would have eventually found my way, but he helped me to get there quicker, and I just listened to him. So us as people, we need to. They said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak. And when this was said to me, I was like, damn, like all I want to do is learn more. So like, why am I felt a little insulted, but then I realized, man, when I just shut the fuck up and listen and apply, my life evolves like extremely fast. And I'm like, damn, that's all it took. So when my mentor said the hardest route is often,
simple, you know?
Yeah, but it doesn't feel simple. I think that's what it is. It feels like this hurts. It hurts to go through the breakup.
Exactly.
But it's simple. It's like that person ain't good for you.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I talked over you, my bad.
No, that's good. I just said simple but not easy. I mean, that's all it is, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we need to appreciate all these negative feelings, pain, the feelings of loss. I mean, because when you think about loss, it's like, damn, it's not that I lost this person. We should change. We should learn how to think of things differently. Yeah. Maybe I should have appreciated them. So I'm going to do better next time. Or maybe I'll appreciate the people around me more. Maybe you were with somebody and you just neglected all your friends, and all they want to do is spend time with you, oftentimes spend money on you and have a good time. And but no, we were so up this other person's ass that wasn't good for us, that we lost everything in the process. So we need to learn from our experiences and continually apply while listening to other people. Grant, I talked to you about Grant. I went over there and I told Grant, I'm like, yo, but when I come over, I literally, when I'm outside the door, flip over the cup, and because he has a lot of information to give me. So I remember the first time I had saw him in a while, I just listened to him talk, and I was just like, yeah, that's a great idea. And instead of like getting in the way and saying, well, I know fucking music too, and blah, blah, blah. No, I learned so much more just by shutting the fuck up, because he has so much more knowledge than me. Shep, you too. And when we're able to do that, that's going to help us take everything that we could learn, put it in ourselves, and then the next day be the new and improved version of ourselves and be better. Nobody wants to do that shit though, because it's difficult to say I'm not the hottest artist unless I work with, because there's a time I was like narcissistic about our music. Like we legitimately thought that nobody was better than us, and we sucked. We sucked. Oh, thank you.
But I mean, that's a good mindset to have going in, like that confidence going into certain things. Definitely helps with energy. It helps with vibes, and it helps improve product. On the real,
fucking stop, Chase.
So I mean, shit. You know, I've had those things. You know, I feel like there's a certain point you can get to, but I feel like you got to look at yourself and love yourself. And you gotta,
for sure.
You gotta think you're the hottest, the flyest, the best, because having that confidence in yourself will help you in certain situations in life.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it gives off that aurora, you know, that vibe that, you know, everything, you know, people be like, I feel like you're shining. And it's like, I am. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. No, I feel you. You're right. You're definitely right. I had narcissism though. We were narcissistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. There's a line. You gotta stay on one side of it for sure.
Oh man, we cannon bolted over the line, just like, because we weren't like, we were good. We had talent. We had potential, but we saw ourselves as the end product before we got there. And even now, I'm learning how to rhyme better. Like, I haven't made that much music. Me and Grant are actually supposed to get together again soon. I ran into Kenny last night. He told me to send him a beat. And I'm really just focusing on putting together the best material as opposed to just putting music out, because I want this to hit, you know?
Right.
So, I definitely got the confidence, but it's better now without the narcissism. Yeah. Everybody likes me better that way.
Oh no, and it's like, still, I've done it for 18 years and I'm still learning shit. I'm still improving on shit. I'm still, trying to write different stuff. You know, when you get comfortable within yourself, that's when you get outside your box and you're not afraid to put something down that you're in your head. You're like, this is a good fucking idea. And then you put it down and you're like, nah, that sucks.
Yeah. I'm definitely a lot. I definitely want to try more things now, like the singing. I don't know how I sound to everybody else, but I feel like I can actually hold a note. I can actually do okay with a little bit of singing. I'm not a singer, but I definitely want to, especially with it getting warmer, I want to make more summer music, more fun music, as opposed to like the aggressive shit we used to make. I still want to make that, but there's so much more to me. Now I'm comfortable with who I am. I want to show it to everybody.
Right.
Everybody's going to get to see you flex your acting chops a little more this year too.
I can't wait. And then plus, like, you sent me something the other day.
Probably. Or the beat,
okay.
Or the music or whatever. Or,
yeah.
I'm
excited for that too.
Yeah, that honestly, I was talking to Shep about that yesterday, and it's that confidence thing. I'm feeling a lot more confident in myself as a musician, and my process whenever I'm putting a project together is like whatever tracks I have, like I'll export them once I have like a demo together. I'll put them on my phone, and when I go for my walks, like I'll just listen to that shit on repeat. Like I will or like right now, and before it was like one track, I'll listen to that one track over and over and over again. 2 tracks,
it's good.
2 tracks, 3 tracks, now I'm listening to the 3 tracks. Like, and I'm trying to just feel it out. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? How can I improve on this?
It's good though.
I definitely feel like it's some of my best stuff as opposed to where I was at last year when I first started doing it. So,
but even then it was good because like I know I have like a different like taste. So like I listen to all sorts of music, but like you sent me the dubstep beat yesterday. That was dope. But even when you first started, I'm like, you made this. This is good, man. You got a natural talent, natural affinity.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. It's not just because you my guy. You good.
Yeah, you good. That's why I made you my guy. I was like, I should hold on to this one.
Hey, I appreciate it because I could really do some stuff, but I'm better than ever now. I missed the last thing you said.
I said I think we're going about 10 years strong at this point. You and I think we've known each other for almost 10 years. I met you in
about 10 years.
Yeah, just about. It'll be 10 next.
Damn, that's nuts, man.
I know,
that's
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, man.
We just worked at a restaurant together, and it's not even like we were that close when we were working together, but I came to a few parties. I was the new kid on the block. I was the young guns, and shit, look at us now.
We were fucking out of our mind.
You were out of your mind. I was just young. I just came from high school, and then we just like, come, let me show you the ways of the world. I was like,
oh, dude, you were so chill.
Oh yeah, man. But yeah,
I did a lot of drugs.
Of course, I was chill.
Yeah, we were.
Had a lot to live for.
I ran into Lee. You remember Lee?
No.
Oh well, he's been my friend forever, and I ran into him last night, and he hands me Shep's birthday gift, and I remember talking about the parties and stuff, and then I thought about you. I thought about like one of the times you were at the parties, and I'm just like, man, how did we not scare you off? Because like we were just doing way too much.
That's the only party I've ever been to in my life where the cops showed up and we had to scatter. Like it's the only one I was ever at that was ever like that.
I don't remember that.
I got that memory. There was that night, the other party I went to where there was another party I didn't even go to, but I still had to go rescue the dudes that did go. I think everybody else went. Phil and Robin and all them. They went to their place and then they almost got in a fucking fight with somebody on Green Street. On the way back. I said they must be coming from John's. I should probably go pick them up.
Yeah, we were just doing too much. And I remember there was one time, like, so there was like, we were the last, I don't even know how to explain it. There's like an alley. You remember the alley?
Yeah, no, that's what, yeah.
You remember Christian? He had like a drop top Miata. I guess it was his dad's car. So he's like, John, you want to get in? I'm like, fuck yeah. So we're in his car, the top down, speeding down campus. I'm throwing beer bottles at the girls, like just walking down the street. Somehow we didn't get pulled over. We almost flipped the car and died. And then we drove back, and I remember as we were pulling down the alley, there was like a welcome, like everybody from the party came just to see us pull up. We weren't doing anything special.
I know. That's just how it was. I was like, I see those types of parties in movies, and some people call bullshit. I don't know, man. I can say at least for a time in my life, I went to a few.
We'll throw a party. Come on, we'll throw another one.
Let's do it. Let's just get fucking destroyed. Now that our minds are right. Hey, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. It's been a good.
Oh, it's that time.
It is about that time to wrap this baby up.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Jon McEwen,
things happening.
Check his podcast out, Spotify, anywhere else you stream. Hard Life Insights, if you want.
That's right.
Hard Life Insights from this guy.
Hell yeah!
Thank you.
No,
I appreciate you guys.
No. Thank you.
Health Monday in the books.
Love y'all. Peace.
Don't log off when I he did it anyways.
He did it again.
I knew he was going to do it because he did it the last time he was here.
Drats.
All right. Well, peace, everybody.
Smooches and deuces.